All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Diamond Zone. It's Wonderful Wife Wednesday. Wonderful Wife Wednesday. Sure you guys are all excited about that. I know I am. I cannot wait to hear my wonderful wife. And so first of all, let me just make sure you guys know today at 12 and 6 o'clock, we have our business opportunity presentation. So on Wednesdays and Sundays, we do 12 and 6. So I will be doing the noon, and Mr. Rabu Gary will be doing the 6 o'clock tonight. So please make note, privatehelomeeting.com. privatehelomeeting.com. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Lisa Giammalva. So welcome, Miss Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Always excited to do Diamond Zone. You know, I was thinking about what I wanted to train on today, and I think something we really need to focus in on and always continue to be mindful of. I think this is one of the biggest skills and most important skills you can have is follow-up. So I put together a training on follow-up because, you know, we've all heard that the fortune is in the follow-up. And I think that's a lot of times where we're missing the ball. You know, people are getting the 3-minute video out there. They may be going to networking events. They may even be making phone calls. But sometimes when it comes to the follow-up, we feel like we're bugging people. And I wanted just to kind of really get into some concepts and some techniques. So without further ado, I'm going to pull up my presentation. And I'm going to go ahead and slideshow and start from the beginning. Can everybody see this? Yay! All right. So follow up properly. Follow up properly. The fortune is in the follow up. So first of all, you know, in this business, part of following up properly is knowing that, you know, you're a professional. You got to be a professional when it comes to follow-up. You've got to respect your business. One of the things that I always have trained on is, you know, when someone really follows up correctly and they're right on top of things and they call when they're supposed to, and you know, it's just like it's magic. It's magic. You stand out from the crowd, and it's not like you're some amazing personality crazy person. You're just doing the simple things that you're supposed to do. And how many people out there don't do the simple things that they're supposed to do? Probably most. And so when somebody just does what they're supposed to do, that in itself is going to make you stand out from the crowd, especially if you're going to these networking events. There's so many things that you can do to make yourself memorable. But we're going to really focus on follow-up today. And you got to take, you know, these are some great bullet points. Take your business seriously. You know, for someone that follows up, it means that they respect their business. They take it seriously. It's a business. Believe it or not, this is a real business. You know, sometimes one of the problems I think in general is when we get involved in this industry, when people get involved in this industry, they could own traditional businesses. They could be lawyers, Indian chiefs, moms, whatever. But they get in this business, which has the ability to make millions, but they treat it like, you know, just a lemonade stand. You know, they don't take it seriously. They don't treat it like a real business. And then, of course, it doesn't pay like a real business. You guys have to understand something. You're building an asset. You know, anything that throws off residual income, anything that throws off money is an asset. This is a willable, transferable, sellable asset. Therefore, it's a real business. So you got to get your mindset right. You got to respect it. And that's the biggest thing I think about follow-up is if you have these foundational principles in your mind, you're going to go out there and you're going to treat your business differently. You really are. You're not going to treat it like, oh, I'll get to it when I get to it. I'll call that person when I need to call that person. I'm going to blow that appointment off. I'm going to blow that appointment off. You know, that's kind of what happens. Or I'm not going to talk to this person because they won't do it. This isn't a real business. They'll make fun of me. See, all these things right now that you put inside your head. Okay, first of all, those are the things. These are the things that are going to stop you from following up correctly because you don't respect your business. You're not treating it like a real business. Anything that throws off money is an asset, you guys. I don't care if it's $3,000 a month. I don't care if it's $1,000 a month. How many people on this call would be excited if you residually were making $1,000 a month from your business? How much money would you have to have in the bank to pull out $1,000 a month? These are the things that, you know, sometimes we miss. We hear the 6 million, we hear the 8 million, we hear the 2 million. Let's just dial this thing back, you guys. Everybody would love to have a side business that throws off income, right? That's what life is all about, getting something that throws off passive income. You know, I like to use this term. What if you invested $1 million? That's really what you have to think about when you do these things, when we teach you these things, when we teach you these principles. I don't care if it's prospecting, closing. We're doing a training on follow-up today. If you had $1 million in the game, let's say you bought a McDonald's. What is that, a million plus, $1.5 million? You know, they say 3 to 5 years to get back your investment. The time it takes, you have to hire employees. You got to go to McDonald's University. Think about that commitment. If someone doesn't show up, you're cleaning the toilets because you got $1 million in the game. Well, if you had $1 million over here, the problem is we can't invest more than $3,400 to get the professional pack, which, by the way, we show people how to get their money back within weeks if they do this correctly, right? Think about that. But if you had $1 million in the game, you would treat it differently. All right. So having said all that, let's talk about follow-up. Now, I'm not going to get into the inviting process, but I just want you guys to remember follow-up starts in the invite. Follow-up starts in the invite. And a lot of these invitations we know are on our Hilo.life app. We know that they're on cnworldgn.com has scripts. We know they're, you know, these are the type of things that, you know, you can access and talk to your upline about getting, okay? But, you know, you've got your scripts, and when you're calling people and you're texting people and you're instant messaging people, you have different approaches for different people, you know? But just as an example, if I'm talking to someone who's a business-minded friend, I'd love you to take a look at this wearable technology from a business perspective. Fair warning, this 3-minute video might make you lose sleep tonight. But the point I really want to make is you got to ask permission. Please ask permission before you send the video. Get the person to agree. You want people agreeing to what you're going to give them. Don't spam people. Please don't spam people. So I always like the if I, would you. If I sent you this 3-minute video, would you watch it for me? Right? So again, just different scripts you can use. You need to decide what script is best for what person you're talking to. But these are just some examples. But the follow-up begins in that invitation process. Okay? So when I send somebody whatever script I'm going to send them, and I ask permission to send them the video and they agree to watch it, don't use passive language. Okay, fantastic. I'm so excited. You're going to watch this 3-minute video. I'm going to get that over to you. That's sometimes people, they just do that. Some people say, okay, I'm going to get that over to you and I'll follow up with you within the week. Or within, thank you so much. My dog's scratching on the door. Or within a couple days. Anything that is open-ended is called passive language. Don't use passive language. I wish we had like a little taser that people would get, you know, buzzed if they do that. You'd stop using passive language. Remember, you got $1 million in the game. You're a professional. You own an asset that you're building. Okay, you're building a residual income asset, right? So what do you want to do? You want to use active language, okay? And we talk about this in a lot of the different scripts, but you know, if I send somebody a 3-minute video and I say, if I send you the 3-minute video, would you watch it? And the person says yes, I'm going to say, okay, well, fantastic. I'm going to send this over to you. When do you think you can watch it? And I want them to commit. Well, I think I can watch it tonight. Great. What is better for me to call you, tonight or tomorrow? Always give people a choice, and always ask a question, okay? That way they have to think. You want people to verbally say, yes, I'll watch the video. Yes, you can call me. And yes, you can call me tonight. The more times you get people saying mentally, yes, 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 these are subconscious things that are drawing them to you, okay? They're agreeing, okay? And when you're following up, one of the things that's very, very important is it's not following up because you're going to say, so what'd you think? And we're going to talk about all this. You got to assume the sale. You have to have the mindset that every time you send somebody that 3-minute video, I envision they're in. I envision they're building a business. I envision they just went team developer in 7 days. You gotta envision it. What you see is what will happen. Assume the sale. Always assume the sale. Be positive. Don't say they probably won't do it. Guess what? They probably won't do it. Whatever you put out into the universe, you guys, this is really, I believe this has made a big difference in our business. When you put something out in the universe usually says, your wish is my command. They're going to give you what you put out there. So assume the sale. Obviously, you're not going to get the sale every time just because you're going to assume it. We're all not genies. But having that attitude, you're going to have a different demeanor. You're going to have a different posture. But the most important thing, you guys, is do not get off the phone ever, or stop texting or instant messaging when you're communicating ever until the next step is set. Does that make sense? In other words, I've got a next step. The person is going to watch the 3-minute video, and I am going to call them tonight. That person's going to get on the live webinar at noon with Jeff. And I'm going to call them because they've got to go to work then. I'm going to call them first thing in the morning. They agreed to get on the presentation, and I'm going to call them first thing in the morning. In other words, I know that there's a next step that's going to move that person through the process, okay? So very important, the follow-up begins in the invitation process. If you do these simple things, it's going to help you follow up correctly. If you use passive language, that's going to screw up your follow-up. Because have you ever chased prospects and now all of a sudden you've lost total control of the situation, and you're now just becoming, you feel like you're just becoming a stalker. That's what happens in network marketing because you weren't a professional and you weren't clear with them about what the next step was, okay? So that leads into the next point is know what your role is. My role is not to, explain the business. It's not. My role, my objective, know what your objective is to move the prospect through the system. I want them to make a decision based on facts and based on whether this is a fit for them or not. I'm not tied to the outcome. I'm going to assume the sale. I'm going to be positive, but I'm always real even. Whether they do it or not does not affect my business, okay? I'm in control. I'm leading this party, all right? But always remember, you know, it's all about exposures. Can someone get involved after a 3-minute video? Yes. But are the chances higher if they see a 3-minute video and a 30-minute presentation? That's 2 exposures. It could be a 3-minute video, a 30-minute presentation, then a 3-way call. Wouldn't that be 3 exposures? Maybe they want to get on Diamond Zone. Wouldn't that maybe be 4 exposures? Maybe they want another call with the upline to strategize their launch. Maybe that's 5 exposures. Maybe they want to get on the update call on Monday and hear from all the presidents. That's 6 exposures. In other words, my job, I'm like a cruise director. Who is that cruise director in the Love Boat? Julie McCoy. I'm just bringing them through the process. I'm sharing with them. I'm pointing. I'm sharing. I'm pointing. And every time you point and you share, what you're doing, you guys, is you're selling the system. You're selling the leverage. If you point and share and you point and you share, you're selling a system. That's what's going to close the business. If you are yapping your mouth and you're explaining the 3-minute video and you're explaining the 30-minute presentation and you're not doing 3-way calls because you're the know-it-all, the person, you're scaring them. People get nervous because what they're really envisioning is, can I do this? Can I do what you're doing? And in most cases, people are busy. They're ADD. Nobody thinks they can sell. Nobody wants to bug their family and friends. But if you follow up correctly, you're selling a system, you're selling a process, and people are seeing what you do. They're watching what you do. And when they watch what you do, they're going to say, I can do that. That's what closes the business. So first of all, in the follow-up, you've got to know your role. It's like we're all playing a part in a beautiful play. Fabio has his role, right? Alessandro has his role. You don't see them doing this, right? Antonio Della Rosa has his role. The new chief financial officer or the new chief sales marketing guy, Doug, has his role. Our role is to bring people through the system. And the more people we bring through the system, the more money we make. Does that make sense? So be a professional, stand out from the crowd. But I'm going to share with you guys some sales statistics that I think are very eye-opening. And I don't think these are statistics that don't apply to our business. These are sales statistics that you guys got to know. So we're not any different. So listen to these numbers. 44% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. Now I want you guys to, how many people are on this call? I want you guys, 72 people. I want you guys to think about this. Are you one of those people? 44%. Now I want you guys to think about something. We've all been there. How many people do you think that you sent the video to that you didn't follow up with, that you might have needed 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, maybe exposures, those lost sales that fell through the cracks? 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. So that might be the 3-minute video, and then you got them on the presentation, and then you never got in touch with them again. Or maybe they didn't get on the presentation and you didn't follow up to get them back on a presentation. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop. Crazy. Only 10% of the salespeople make more than 3 contacts. Only 10% of salespeople, only 10% make more than 3 contacts. And what are we talking about? The fortune is in the follow-up. Now look at these statistics. 2% of the sales are made on the first contact. Only 2%. So think about all those 3-minute videos going out there. You need a lot of 3-minute videos going out there if you think you're going to get to presidential millionaire without a second and third and a fourth exposure. 3% of the sales are made on the second contact. 5% of the sales are made on the third contact. And 10% of the sales are made on the fourth contact. But this right here is interesting. 80% of the sales are made on the 5th to the 12th contact. That's what I want you guys to focus in on. We've got such a beautiful system. We have so many things that people can get exposure to and what sells the business. Can you invite one of your prospects after they've been on the 30-minute call and after they've had a 3-way call to listen into a Diamond Zone? Do you think Diamond Zone training is going to sell the system? Do you think getting them on an Update Monday call is going to sell the system? Do you think getting them on the a 3-way call with your upline diamond to strategize their launch is going to sell the system? So remember, 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. This is really important, guys. So here's some scripts. Let's talk about some scripts. First of all, when you're following up and you've invited somebody to watch the 3-minute video and you've invited somebody to get on, let's say the 30-minute Zoom meeting today at noon or tonight at 6, you got to have confidence in these follow-up calls. You got to have certainty. You got to have a clear vision of obviously your role and what you're doing and what you see, okay? Think about it like this. If you were going into battle, right? Let's just back in the medieval days, and your leader was not certain, and we had this big army behind him, and this was a life or death situation, would you follow him? Of course not. But when you've got Russell Crowe charging into that field and the certainty is there and it's life or death, you'll follow him off the cliff. A lot of times that's network marketing, you guys. Think about every single leader, every single presidential millionaire, or some of the double presidents and the grand presidents and any of the presidents. They have confidence. They speak with confidence. They know that if they bring somebody in with certainty, they can help them make money. And you've got to build that. We always say fake it till you make it. But again, these are things that none of the scripts are going to work if you don't have the right confidence behind what you say. Okay? So if I'm following up with somebody, you got to first just ask the question. Get business out of the way. Did you watch it? If I'm talking to Christy, following back up with her, and she told me to call her after watching the 3-minute video the following morning at 8 o'clock. And I even said, what phone number should I call you on? Some people like to talk on their house line. I'm going to call up, yada, yada. How's you doing? How's your morning? You get the kids off okay? Got your coffee? Okay, so first of all, did you watch it? Ask the question, right? Sometimes we just start talking. Did you get on the presentation last night? If they were going to get on the presentation at 6 o'clock and then they had to get the kids to bed and they wanted to talk to you in the morning, did you get on the presentation last night? Ask the question. Now, if somebody says no, no, I haven't watched it yet. And let's say you invited them to get on the 6 o'clock presentation, or they were supposed to get on the 12 o'clock today. I didn't get on, I got busy. One of the things that I think you got to say, it's kind of like, this is a good one. I guess I got to apologize that I didn't do a better job of explaining what was happening last night. We had over 100 people on that call. You guys, things are, Christy, things are absolutely crazy right now. guess what? Would it be okay? Because I got to go. I'm super busy. I've got a bunch of appointments all day going on. In other words, kind of like blow them off a little. You got to kind of like, what if you had a date set with a guy asked you out and he didn't show up, and the next day he called you and said, sorry, I didn't show up for that date. I think, I got busy. You want to go out tonight? Would you be like, okay? No, you'd be like, I'm kind of busy, right? And it's kind of the takeaway. You guys got to remember, this is kind of like dating. It's like a little bit of a dance. So if somebody says, no, they didn't watch the 30-minute, they didn't get on the 30-minute Zoom, I'm going to say, I'm really busy today. I'm blowing and I'm going. I got a bunch of appointments. But you know what? Would it be okay? I'll circle back around you in the next few days. And you know what? Let me see what our next big event is. I'll give you a call and I'll invite you to get on the next one we're hosting. Would that be okay? And then the person feels like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. You kind of blew them off a little bit. So I want you to take a picture of this. We need to do a little bit more dating, okay? You got to kind of say, hey, man, I want to apologize. Maybe I just didn't do a good job telling you about what was happening last night. This is big. We had over 100 people on the call. Things are absolutely crazy right now. But I've got to go, okay? I've got a million things going on. I've got a gazillion appointments, but I'll circle back with you in a few days. And if that's okay, I'll just invite you to get on the next one we're hosting. All right, I'll call you later. Have a great day, Sue. Bye-bye. This might not feel comfortable, but you sometimes got to blow people off a little bit and let them know that, you're good. You're good. And then it's that the person feels like, okay, they're not going to miss the next one because you kind of put them in their place. What if you had a law firm? Okay, remember, being a professional, these are little nuances, little tricks to do. If you had a law firm, if you were an accountant, you were a very high-paid accountant, and it's tax time, and somebody was supposed to show up and you get paid $500 an hour, and that person had scheduled from 11 to 12 and they were going to show up, and that was a $500 hour slot, and that person didn't show up, would you be like, would you say, get my secretary? First of all, I might not have you as a client anymore. My secretary, you're going to have to see my secretary. She'll reschedule you. I am busy. I'm jam-packed. You wouldn't miss that appointment because you don't know when you're going to get back and see that person again. So I'm using just the mindset. I know we're not $500 an hour paid accountants or $500 an hour lawyers, but you have to almost have that attitude. Going back to, you're a professional. You're running a business. You take it seriously. You have $1 million in the game, right? Have the right attitude. If they say, yes, I watched that 30-minute or the 3-minute video. Yes, I got on that, 30-minute Zoom meeting, the recorded or live. Now you've got to check their temperature. Okay, it's kind of like, the turkey is in the oven. You got to see if the little thermometers pop in. So these are just some basic check their temperature questions. The first one is, okay, fantastic. How do you see yourself fitting into this equation? Write these questions down. This is just basic. Everybody should just be saying, this is what we say, Jeff and I. What did you like best about what you saw? And let them talk. You might ask both the questions. After you say, how do you see yourself fitting into this equation? Well, I'm super busy. Maybe I could do something on a spare time, part-time basis, but they're still trying to figure out how this is going to work for them. And then you might say, well, what did you like best about what you saw? man, I love the features of the Hilo LX Plus. I love the fact that I can check my blood pressure. You know, when is that sugar trend monitoring thing coming? I'd love to be able to check my sugar, you know, you're going to hear these type of things. This is the best time. Usually what they're going to do is they're going to ask a question. Now, this is part of the system, you guys. When somebody asks a question, move them into a three-way call. Remember, know your role. You guys, we got to get back to all of us blowing up all of our phones. You're going up to the person who sponsored you. If they're not active, you're going up to the person above them. If they're not active, you're going up to the person above them. You go up the chain until you find an active upline. And when I mean an active upline, someone that you can get on the phone and do a three-way call with. Now, they don't have to be a diamond. They don't have to be a president, double president, president millionaire. It could be the person that got in the day before you got in. Okay? It's somebody else to validate your decision. It's somebody else to talk to your prospect. I'm not going to get too deep in the weeds with this, you guys, but we're talking about follow-up. And if the follow-up in the system is the 3-minute video, the 30-minute webinar, and then the three-way call, how many of you guys are doing three-way calls? You're not utilizing the system. Have you stopped doing three-way calls? I know that I used to hear from a lot of different people, and I'm not saying that it's us. You should be going up to your upline diamond, right? Your upline platinum, somebody that's working with you. But if you're in the business and you've got a prospect that saw the 30-minute video, you should immediately set up a three-way call. Remember, 3 to 5 exposures? This right here is crucial. Crucial. It gives third-party credibility, you guys. The person trusts and loves you. You might have been out the night before having dinner, and you showed them the 3-minute video. They got on the 30-minute webinar, but you're brand new. They don't think of you as the expert in this business. And having somebody else share their story is going to give the credibility that's needed to get them excited about the opportunity. It's called edification. You know, there's a whole training just on three-way calls, but edification is really important to do when you're setting up that three-way call. And it should start before the call. So again, if I'm doing the follow-up call with Christy and I say, what do you like best about what you saw? How do you see yourself fitting into this equation? Simple follow-up questions. And she asks 1 or 2 questions. I'm going to listen. And I'm going to say, those are great questions. And I understand how you feel. Even if I know the answer, I'm going to say, you know what I'd love to do? You know what I'd love to do, Christy? I'd love to get you on the phone with my upline diamond, Shaylisa. These guys are absolutely amazing, Shaylisa and Tim. Not only are they very, very cool people, but they have an amazing background in the industry of network marketing. They're extremely knowledgeable. They can answer a lot of these questions. And I think I'm going to tell you right now, I told them that I was talking to you about this and that I got you on the 30-minute Zoom meeting. And I gave them a little bit of information about who you are and why I'd want to work with you. And Shaylisa, you know, very, very busy, would be open to talking with you. She's excited to meet you. Now, I want you to start doing this, because how many people would love to hear that? Oh, really? That's cool. She's excited to talk to me. Little things to say start before the call. You edified Shaylisa, and you made sure the prospect knew that you were already talking to Shaylisa about the prospect. I told Shaylisa a little bit about you and about your background, And because we were on a call last night about some other business issues that we're doing, we're launching somebody in Bangladesh or something. You know, make it like, you know, you're not just talking about the prospect. That's weird. You're talking about other things, and I happen to mention you. And she said she'd be really interested and excited to spend 15 minutes with you and share a little bit about her story. See, if you do something like that, it's going to open them up. And I'm sure she could field some of your questions and shed some light on really how she transitioned into this business and how her and Tim got to diamond very quickly. Because that's the strategy, is to get to diamond. Diamonds make, you know, $100,000 a year plus. That's the business plan. So that's the way to set up the call correctly. You're going to edify before the call starts. Edification starts before the call. When you set up the call, okay, you want to make sure that when you do the introduction, okay, you're going to talk to Shaylisa, what's a good time, text that person back, we're on for 3 o'clock. Then when you do the call, you're going to call Shaylisa first, 5 minutes before the call. You're going to give her a little history again on the person, and then you're going to click over, get the person on the call, right, the prospect, and you're going to do the introduction, because time is money. This is a business call. You're going to professionally introduce the prospect, and you're going to professionally introduce your upline, and you're going to touch on their credentials. Do not minimize that. We always talk about it. You got to build that person up. And it's not an ego thing, you guys. It's so that they can do their job. It's so that they are put on a pedestal of having the answers, knowing the answers to the test. They have the confidence. They have the clear vision. They have the certainty. You're leaning on all that. And when Shaylisa does what she's supposed to do, which is really just sharing her story and sharing vision, telling them what's happened in the first year, what's going to happen in the second year, and that they're at the right place at the right time. Maybe she starts to go into closing because the expert knows they're going to move it along. And just remember, when I do a 3-way call as an expert, I'm always just moving them into the next exposure. If they're not ready to get started right then, I'm going to move them into the next exposure, which might be a launch Zoom meeting to strategize about how to get to diamond. It might be to get on Diamond Zone. Remember, we're moving them through exposures. But when I'm done with the call, you always want to edify back the person who set the call up. You're with the right person.
And Lisa, you know what else it is? It's a test close. Every time you follow up, it's a test close. Is the person interested? You're testing the temperature. If he keeps moving towards these other exposures, you know you're going to get them. And what that allows you to do is not spend time if they don't want a next step.
And that's very important, you guys. You got to make sure that you're just, like we say, we're moving people through, and you're always testing temperature, move, testing temperature, move, testing the temperature, move. And as long as somebody keeps moving, I'm going to keep moving them through the process. Remember, it's their party. Don't push them through. You're coaching them through. And done correctly, remember, that is what they're going to do. You're training people as you move them through the process. That's really where the true duplication comes. Because doing this correctly, just envision the person's already in, and you're doing this correctly because you're training them, because you want them to do exactly what you just did with them. That's how true duplication takes place. It's more than just getting a check. It's more than just getting them to buy a damn helo or buy a damn package. It's getting them to understand the system, because people are going to do what they experienced. If you do this correctly, that's how true duplication happens. So circle back and edify Christy. Shaylisa is going to say, you know what, Christy Brown, I'm going to tell you right now, you are with the right leader. She is the most diligent person. She has a heart of gold. She's going to be there for you. I'm going to tell you, out of all my leaders, she's one of she does not miss a beat. Her vision is clear. you're on a winning team. It's called the edification circle. She edified me and I'm going to edify her. And all this does, you guys, is it creates this huge, beautiful leverage where everybody feels like they're in this one big happy family. And oh my God, look at all the support I'm going to get. And oh my goodness, can I do this too? See, remember, when somebody says, I just don't know if I could do what you do, I'm going to say, well, let me ask you something. What exactly did Christy do? She got you on a 3-way. She introduced you to a 3-minute video. Can you do that? Well, I guess I can. Can you share that with some of your friends? Then she moved you into a 30-minute Zoom meeting. Can you do that? Yeah, you know, I guess that was easy. She just, you know, asked me a couple key questions and I said I'd get on. She followed up with you and got you on a 3-way call. Could you do that? Yeah, this was great. I love the fact that I have people that can get on the call and answer some questions. I don't have to be this expert. I can do that. See, what you do, guys, by doing these simple things is follow-up is so crucial. You're selling the system. Now, this is what happens. All of us smarty pantses, and we're guilty of it, stop doing the thing that brought us to the dance. You know, I'm going to go back. I was going over my numbers with Jeff earlier this morning. You know, I think about when we launched. We had over 200 people on our list, and this is when we came out of the gates as presidents. 50,000 points on the pay leg, which we know is what, $250,000 in sales. We had 200 people plus on our list. We then narrowed it down to the top 100 that we knew we wanted to contact. We broke it into 2 groups. Jeff was calling half of them. I was calling the other half. And we were inviting them to watch the 3-minute video. 75 people watched that 3-minute video. Then we were doing the follow-up and we were moving people into presentations. We were doing live Zoom meetings like crazy, 3 to 4 a day. 60 people watched the presentation. And then we were doing the follow-up, you know, what did you like best about what you saw? You know, how do you see yourself fitting into this equation? If they said no, you think Jeff and I were like, we're like, wait a minute, I have to apologize. I must not have conveyed the importance of what we're doing. This is huge. But listen, I got to jump on this other Zoom meeting. If you want to get on, great. Otherwise, I'm going to circle back with you in a couple days, all right? Because this thing is big, it's blowing up, but I gotta go. We did the takeaway. I'm teaching you guys everything that we did. We did this. So then the people feel like, oh, I just got tossed to the curb. And out of the 60 people that watched the presentation, we were doing 3-way calls like crazy with our upline, Jeremy Roma. Why? The system, credibility. Hey, let me get you on a call with Jeremy Roma. Didn't we do that, Dan? Didn't we do that, Lisa? Want you to meet the leadership. Jeremy, hey, welcome to the team. Let me tell you why this is so exciting. Boom, 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 boom. See, what happens is leaders, they move into a place of getting to president or double president or diamond, and they stop doing 3-way calls. Big mistake. We got to start leveraging again. Everybody does. Your diamonds, every single diamond on this call, we all have to start leveraging again. When was the last time I had a 3-way call from some of our diamonds? You know, so this is important. And out of the 20 people that got on 3-way calls, and remember, not everybody got on a 3-way call, they just got started. We brought in 40 plus people in our first pay cycle, which got us to president, 50,000 points on our pay leg. But these are the numbers, guys. And all we did was what I'm sharing with you. It's exactly what we did. Okay? So what do you guys got to do? Now you've got people, they've gone through the process. You kind of know someone's begging you to get and start. They're picking their package. Closing to me is, if I'm bringing people through these exposures, they're telling me they're ready. That's really a beautiful thing. But closing is really about a sense of urgency, you guys. You kind of talk faster, you're busy. I got to tell you guys something. Without urgency, without a sense of urgency, all value is lost. Does that make sense? If you don't have urgency, people, they don't feel the value. It's almost like if you watch an infomercial, they're going to give the number up there of how many items are left. And as the items are decreasing, the urgency increases. You got to have urgency. It can't just be, oh, okay, we just did our launch. Get around to it when you get around to it. You guys, that's not, we're all human. We react to fear of loss is always greater than the desire to gain. We're all grown-up kids. We don't want to miss out on the next big thing. Why do you think, and I hate when this happens, but why do you think sometimes people jump to the top, these leaders of network marketing companies? Because they did this. Then they stop doing this. They start to flatline. All their people who went to the top start to flatline because everybody stops doing what they were supposed to do. Then when they jump to the next company, they do this. And everything is so great at the new company. You know why it's so great? Is because they're doing what they're supposed to do. They have this fear of loss they start to instill in people. Nobody wants to miss out. So everybody's rushing into the next shiny little object when they could have just been doing what they're supposed to do in the company they're in. Okay, that's called business. That's called digging it out. That's called every network marketing professional always relaunches their business at least once a year as they get bigger and bigger and bigger, sometimes twice a year. I got to tell you, I've been being pursued heavily, and we're not going anywhere, by somebody who's one of the top earners of another company. It started in January, and we're just good friends now, but he's relaunching his business. He wanted to bring on the class of 2018, another 20, 30 people. And this guy's making millions and millions of dollars. I could tell you, he's been featured with Eric Worre. So every professional needs to relaunch. And every company needs to instill another shot of adrenaline into it. So when you do that, you create this urgency. I have 10 key positions I'm going to fill by tomorrow at 3 o'clock, by the end of this month on the 31st, because I'm launching our company with the new Hilo LX Plus. We're positioning this new group of people to catapult into the top with all the new apps that are going to be dropping in, with the new Sugar Trend technology. I'm so excited. And this is where, a lot of times you're talking about what's happened, which is exciting, and what's going to happen. But I have 10 key positions I'm going to fill by the end of the month. I'd love you to be one of them. That's why I'm talking to you first. You've got to create urgency. Have to. You guys, some closing things to say to people. When you've heard some of these questions before. I actually like them in the close. If I'm talking to somebody and they've been through the different exposures, I'll say, you know what? Listen, Betty, you've heard of Fitbit, right? And I would be saying this if I was doing a 3-way call with somebody's person, because the expert can help close for you. But if I'm closing this thing up, listen, 20 million units were sold. It's a $7 billion company. Now, if 7 years ago, let's be real about this thing. If 7 years ago, you could have gotten involved and had a piece of Fitbit and gotten paid on every device sold, would you have done it? Paint vision. World Global Network is projected to sell 15 million units. We know they've already sold 800,000 in their first year. And that was a, cluster, boom. It was crazy what happened. With everything that happened, 800,000 units were sold. They're projected to sell 15 million. It's kind of like I'm giving you a crystal ball, and you could be involved with me in a company that's going to be over $3 billion. Paint vision. We just brought on our new chief sales marketing director. I got to get his name. I got to get the title down. I'll look that up again after we get off this call. He brings companies to billions of dollars. We're poised for greatness. You're at the right time at the right place. It's almost better you didn't get involved a year ago. You might not be here today. Sell vision. Vision, vision, vision. And just to close this thing up, you guys, don't be a flake. Don't be a flake. Honor their time when you follow up. Everything you do is moving people into one exposure after the next. If I say I'm going to call somebody, I'm going to call somebody. So make sure you have a system. I like pen and paper. I've got my daily planner. Jeff, I know, likes to use his Google Calendar on his phone. But everything I have, and if I've got an appointment, I am on it. Because again, that builds credibility. Do what you say you're going to do. Do what you say you're going to do. And I always say, listen, I know your time is so valuable. Thank you for the time, you know, for me to kind of call you and follow up with you. Time is the most precious commodity somebody can give. It really is. So I honor that when I follow up with them. I respect that. I tell them, I honor your time. Thank you for taking the time. So what did you like best about what you saw? And I go into my scripts. How do you see yourself fitting into this equation? Person says, no, I didn't watch it. I got to apologize. I must not have conveyed what was really happening. This thing is blowing up. Listen, I got to go because I'm jumping on this Zoom meeting. If you want to get on, great. But I'll circle back with you in a couple days and I'll fit you into the next big presentation that we're having. Kind of given, sometimes booting them to the curb is going to make them want it more. It's called psychology. All right? And remember, if your funnel's full and you're putting people in, drip on them, don't drown them. In other words, if you're always adding people, I might be promoting a big event. Right now, we are going to be doing a live event on the 24th and 25th of March in LA with Ramasio Fulcher. It's giving me an opportunity to circle back around with all the people that kind of are stuck in my funnel and inviting them to this event as my special guest. If there's a special speaker, you know, Tanya was on yesterday. Sheila's going to be on as the speaker next week. Gaz is going to be on from UK. I'm promoting speakers. I'm promoting Jeff Giammalva. I'm promoting Rabu Gary. Promote the speakers. Talk about why they should be on the call. And this guy's made millions of dollars in the industry. You're promoting webinars. You're promoting events. You're updating people with new information. You know how many people I talked to yesterday about, and I have been talking to about the new chief sales officer come in. I mean, this is big. This guy, you know, knows what he's doing. Billions of dollars he's done, bringing companies to billions of dollars. He's now running our show, right? This is big. Don't fall in love with potential, guys. These are just little tips. Listen, you know, the world is filled with people with lots of potential. And sometimes I hear people say, oh, you'd be so good. This person would be so good. Oh my gosh, my mother, if she got in this business, she'd be so good. You can't fall in love with potential. This is just numbers for us. I move people through the system. I work with the people that do what they say they're going to do. That's it. And I've got a kind of like a 3-strike rule. If they didn't watch it, I'll circle back around and invite them again. They didn't watch it, they might have a really good excuse. I might use that close again and say, listen, I'm just going to send you the recorded one. Obviously, you're super busy. If I send you the recorded webinar, when can you watch it? See, I'll use those closes again. And the person says, I can watch it tonight. Great. Can I call you tonight after you watch it? Or should I call you tomorrow? What time is best for you? So I always make the appointment to follow up. Then when I call, if they haven't watched it, listen, this might not be the right time for you. Learn to cross people off your list. Learn to say, if someone keeps saying they're going to watch it and they don't, they're going to watch it and they don't. And I know life happens. Something might have happened to their dog, or something might be going on in their life where they needed to wash their hair. I don't know. But if it continually keeps happening, remember, time is really precious. You need to have a mindset of abundance. Sometimes crossing somebody off, it's going to open up your mind to saying, more people are going to come to me. If you don't cross somebody off, it's because you've got a scarcity attitude. You think, oh my gosh, this is the only person I have to talk to, and I know they're going to be so good. No, they're not. And if they were going to be good, they would have already done it. So don't spend your time with the wrong people. Instead, spend your time with the right people. Move through the process. That's how you follow up. That's what sells the system. And
they can't exercise their potential unless they make a decision to get involved. So that's why I love what Lisa said. You got to eventually cross them off, right? Because we put all this emphasis on this person who hasn't done it yet.
Yeah.
This is so ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's it, guys. That's all I got for this morning. I hope it was helpful. I know that there's some chats here. So many notes were taken. Great training. If there's any more questions, perfect. I love it. Let's just make this a big, big month, you guys. We have so many exciting things happening with the new Hilo LX Plus, the new Hika app, I'm so embarrassed. Doug. I'll just call him Doug, the new big guy, Doug. So we all have a lot of information to share with people. And remember, we're just information givers. We're pointing people to the information. Let the system sell the process. Anything else, Jeff, that you want to add?
Nope, that's it. See you guys today at 12 and 6. Talk to you guys soon. This has been recorded. This has been recorded. Bye.
Bye.